We are the last generation that was born as the smartest thing on this planet. And here's a fact, coming to our topic of the day. China deploys more industrial robots in 2 weeks than India does in the whole year. This is not a gap in hardware. This is a gap in ambition, in how seriously we take the rise of what I see the next industrial revolution, which is physical AI. We've been marveling, all of last year and before, on how ChatGPT can write poems and pass exams, right? While there is a quiet revolution that's unfolding around us, right? On the shop floor and outside of it. Ladies and gentlemen, AI is getting a body. It is stepping out of screens and code and software, and it's stepping into a world of steel and sensors and servo motors, right? Physical AI is where matter meets intelligence, where sensors do not just detect, but they decide. Machines learn and adapt. And robots are no longer just, executing automation, they're collaborating. So where is India in all of this? The good news, we're not too far behind. Considering the fact that, historically it's taken us decades, to catch up with industrial revolutions, we're actually not too far behind. And we have the talent. We have global tailwinds. Here's the not so good news. We're still playing a small game. We are fiddling with blueprints while the world is building an engine. And this is not just robots that we are talking about when we talk about physical AI. These could be cameras, right, that are spotting defects and classifying them. These could be vibration sensors, right, that are not just detecting but predicting failures. Cobots that are working with humans to amplify them. So this here is a chance for India to leapfrog. Right? To go from consuming and using physical AI to building and exporting them to the rest of the world. So this panel here is not about tech. It's about mindset. Right? It's about, whether we aspire to shape this revolution that is unfolding in front of us, or to just watch from the sidelines. Because physical AI is rising, with or without us. So in this $25 billion market, which is going to grow fivefold in the next 5 years, our choice is to get in there and build the brain and the body of this future, right? Or watch others flex it. So with that, I'm going to get into this panel. My job was to, paint this very rosy picture and get this off on a happy note, right? For the rest of our panel to actually get in the real meat of things. So with that, I'm going to start off with you, Shri. And for our audience here, if you could tell us, give us an example of, something you've seen in the real world that actually illustrates what we are talking about.
Sure. Thank you, Satyakam. So before I get into the real world, thought a small diversion. Yesterday in my home, my wife was watching Special Ops 2. I think most of you would have watched. So in that, there is an AI scientist who is giving a speech in a conference and he gets kidnapped. So my wife came back and told, hope all of you panelists will come back safely tomorrow. So that's the amount of hype AI is generating. But mark my words, a lot of things are really happening in the manufacturing world. Around a week back, I had visited a two-wheeler manufacturer in Pune, a very premier two-wheeler manufacturer. I had visited their engine assembly. And the engines of two-wheelers are normally assembled, and a lot of robots are in the assembly line, and a lot of human beings are also assembling it. There are a lot of parts which go into engine, like your piston, valves, and many of the parts. And when the engine gets assembled, it comes for a testing. They call it as a hot fire testing, where the engine gets fired, and you test it for certain parameters. It could be lubrication pressure, oil pressure, and various things. But what the management has realized is, this testing is not sufficient. They find that even with the testing and with all those parameters within the limits, engines do fail, even before reaching the customers. They have found that many of these parts which are assembled gets loose, and maybe they pass the test, but they are not really good for the road. So the question which they posed it to us was, how do I test the engine in the hot test area so that I can find out if anything is loose inside or if any part is come out. And this is a production area. You don't get 1 hour to test an engine. Parts are produced in minutes. So in 20 seconds, each engine gets tested. So in 20 seconds, you have to take a decision whether an engine is good or bad. So what kind of AI are you going to employ here? That was the question. So finally, we realized that we can sense the vibrations of the engine. Possibly the engine has got multiple parts, so you have to put various vibration sensors, not one. Maybe 5 of them at different areas of the engine, and sense the vibrations. And with an AI engine, you find out what is a healthy vibration and what is an unhealthy vibration, and then relate it to which part is loose. So that's the solution. So, but why I am bringing this anecdote is, there is a lot of innovation happening in the manufacturing shop floor where people are thinking of employing AI. So these are the real AI use cases. And surprisingly, when I came back and started researching on this topic, not many AI testing is employed in engines. So if the two-wheeler manufacturer does it, this is going to be a product which can be sold worldwide. And it's going to be a huge importance because you are improving the quality of the engine. That's a brand of your company which improves. So those are the kind of physical AI innovations happening in the field. So normally whenever we talk of physical AI, we always look at robots or cobots or autonomous mobile robots. But there is a lot underneath the hood also. So in my journey in AI for manufacturing, 2 important use cases which normally everybody is asking. One is predictive maintenance, where the downtime of a machine can be predicted. It is something like Back to the Future movie, no? Where you can go back and predict what happens in the future. So that's what the manufacturer is expecting today. Can I predict whether my motor is going to fail in the next 1 hour or 1 year? So those are the kind of use cases you see. A lot of predictive maintenance use cases. And the second is computer vision or machine vision, where you put a camera and find out defects in the line, which normal human people are not able to do or not able to do efficiently. Or you can also look at safety and security aspects using camera. So these are the 2 very specific manufacturing use cases which is gaining a lot of traction, in addition to the army of robots what we are talking of. So I will end it here.
Yeah, that's a fab example, Sri. Yeah. So Mahindra, you have worked across diverse organizations, right? Tata to Fanuc. How have you seen robotics change in India? Can you give us some examples?
Good morning, everyone. Basically, I started my career in 1990s. So in 1990s, we hardly saw any robots in any manufacturing setup. So it started basically in a few of the shops, generally the paint shop, which is generally very dirty, dangerous to work. That is one area. And second was these press shops where the machines are operating at a very high speed. I think the shots per minutes are quite high. It's very difficult to manual people to work on these areas. And also the body shop where the large size spot welding guns are actually joining the sheet metals to create the structure for the vehicles. So these were the areas which they started, and that time the philosophy is also to automate the areas which are generally dirty, dangerous, and dull to work. And this was the concept with which most of the automation started. And on these areas, we see some kind of an maturity has happened in the adaptation of robotics. So we see most of the auto OEMs have automations which are up to the global standards right away. Whereas in other areas, we have a long way to go. Basically, I think like assembly operations, inspections, palletizing, all these operations, we have still a long way to go. But recently we have seen, as what Shrikant said, there are some island of excellences in few areas. So we saw a very highly automated engine line assemblies done by one of the large two-wheeler companies in India, which was also not done basically globally anywhere. So technically we see that this is a technical capability. We were able to create an fully automated engine assemblies using the most latest features of the robot, vision and pressure sensors. They could create this line. So this was also giving an idea what technical capabilities we Indians have to create an automation systems. That is there. Second, as Chris sir said, we have these two-wheelers are now our largest manufacturing globally. So we also had a big challenge of providing the right quality product here. Basically, most of the two-wheeler components are welded, and the MIG welding is one of the most critical operations. And these are also safety. Most of the products are safety relevant. And this industry adapted to the robotic welding, and we saw a lot of welding happening through robots for this particular applications. And recently, we have seen this EMS industry is also now coming up with a lot of robotics. In fact, globally, the EMS industry has overtaken the automotive industries as far as the robotization is concerned. So we hope the same thing is going to happen in India in the near future. And we also saw the post-COVID, I think most of the people thought we will ever have this low-cost labor perpetually available to all Indians every time. I think this was made untrue for many people realize it's not going to be the case. And we saw a lot of adaptation of robotics, especially in the end-of-line automation in most of the industries, where I think it is very, very man-intensive. And comparatively, it is a very low-hanging fruit where we will be able to automate very quickly. So we saw a lot of automation happening in these areas also. As Satyakam said, these collaborative robots, which are allowing you to work along with the human beings, is also created a huge impact of robotization across many industries. Basically, where you want to do assemblies along with the people, you want to inspect, you want to test. These collaborative robots have also become a very big advantage in building robotization across India. But as Satyakam said, though we see a lot of island of excellences, there is a huge gap between where we are today and where we need to go. I think there is a big gap there. That's what I just want to comment.
Thanks for that, Mahendra. So clearly one pattern that we are seeing is where there is size, where there is scale, there is a faster adoption, right? Question for you, Dr. Nagahanumiya. You walked a very different path. You're helping building AI-infused machines for Indian organizations, including government and non-government. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of things are happening there?
Yeah, good morning. Let me start with manufacturing. So no matter what you make, finally manufacturing, all manufacturing houses, the few things are common. That is, there is raw material, value addition process happens to have the final product. What are three basic elements in the manufacturing houses? There is a set of process, the machines, and the manufacturing system, that is the place, train, all those. If I look at any manufacturing house, everybody means the business. So I have to meet customer, end of the day I have to make a profit. This is only happens when we understand our system very well. How to understand? Because I have an asset, I have a process, I have a people, or you can call it as the 6M or 8M which we studied in engineering school. The basic focus is whether factory is somebody who's do the job shop, or somebody is an automated company. Even people are now dreaming not only digital factory or smart factory, even dreaming or the trend is towards dark factory. So in order to do this, the basic elements is there is a data, you have to capture this data, then process this data, because all this data, majority of the data is a jug. You process this data, then do analytics, maybe people call it as big data and all. Then you have to autonomous, because my friends have already covered the autonomous, robotization, automation, all. But AI can be used, integrated in all these stages, starting from acquiring the data to process the data and do analytics and then to deploy into automation system. We at CMTI, being a National R&D Institute, we are into this. We provide services to many industries. So thanks to, because Chris sir is our Governing Council President, it is an opportunity for me to speak. Here, what we do is, if you need some smart machines, yes, first is you visit CMTI, we have a smart factory. It is not a demo factory, it is a production factory. You can visualize what is smart factory means. The second is we have developed a tools. The tool is as under as smart machine. Say for example, my colleagues build a diamond turning machine. This gives you about a 2 nanometer RA value in metal cutting, just turning operations. And it happens, one of the parameter to be controlled is 0.5 degree variation in temperature. Itself is causing a kind of adverse effect on the surface finish. So that means this machine is smart enough to monitor those kind of critical parameters, and this machine we built to the automation to that level that if small rise in temperature of 0.5 degree is getting computed in the back end, and then the program gets compensated. So that is a kind of high level of smart machines. And even some operational, like if you go to factory, we implemented several solutions to big companies like Toyota, or to the company like our defense PSU, BEL, or even the companies like Tata's. We provide several solutions starting for like operational management. Maybe simple is power maintenance, energy maintenance, or energy monitoring, or the kind of machine. See, normal workshops, what will happen? There is an operation, the two components has to be assembled. It always happens, that is how industries works. The whole become oversized. That is performed, whole basis system we do, whole performed better before the shaft. The whole is oversized. Can I give this information to the line which makes the shaft? So the program has to be gets compensated. Right? Earlier, usually the production line supervisor, he will go and he will cut off the drawing and he will enter the tolerance values, new tolerance values to be maintained on the shaft. All these could be automated, and AI has been integrated, all these kind of solutions, entire manufacturing process, and it is can be witnessed by several people, several integrators are there. It is there even in our CMT, we provide such solutions.
Fabulous. It's great to see the innovation that's unfolding right here in our neighborhood. So I want us to talk a little bit, since we're talking about physical AI here, on the impact on humans, right? And as you do that, there's another subject that I also want you to tackle, which is how do you actually drive adoption of this, right? So I'm going to start off with you again, Dr. Agahanumiya. So if you can tell us a little bit about, since you run training programs today with DRDO, with government, with multinationals. What skill gaps do you see today, amongst the talent that's out there? And second, how do we build India's middle layer, right, of physical AI talent, right, which is not just operators, but also integrators?
Yeah, if you look at the educational system, mostly it is a curriculum driven. And okay, there are a few autonomous universities wherein that faculties have little flexibility in devising their course curriculum. But majority of the engineering training happens through university system, and mostly it is curriculum driven. There are two major changes happened if you look at 35 years before I graduate and now. Lot of compromise happened with respect to practice-based training. It's not happening. That is one. Because, okay, technology is there, people have adopted the technology, but at the same time, there is no interest in the students because their focus is different. I always say this, at least our students and all, so whether it is 30° or 60°, on the computer, both are 2 digits. But it only feeling is when you touch the hot plate. I think that is what is missing in the education system. We need to do that. And the second aspect is still in Indian education schools, particularly at least Type 2, Type 3, still is a departmental focus. Mechanical is different, electrical is different, electronics is different. But if you want to adopt this kind of technology, the future technology kind of look at, so now at least everybody should have 2 more engineers, mechanical engineer as a friends. Mechanical engineers should have electronics and computer science. Right? At least you should graduate enough to understand what is your electronics friends talk about or what is your computer science friends talk about. I think that is one is missing. I think we need to emphasize on education, that is particularly in the college, when these are in college. The second one is, yes, opportunities in the college, maybe it is largely limited to the kind of test beds, but test beds is again not really convey the conventional or the real problems. The second is, though there is a concept of, say for example, our VTU has now introduced 3 months industry internships. This is an opportunity, but the question is there is no mechanism to operate this. Even yesterday I was looking at VTU made a portal. So the registered industries and universities or the research establishments have to enroll that portal, and students has to go and do the internship there only. Okay, that is good to monitor, but the question is why industry will go and offer internship. So right, I think when we need to look at these all the 3, academia, research and the industry, really HR development is the collective responsibility. We cannot expect that my engineer passed out from the college is ready to take an industry. If industry looks at that is the objective, I'm sure we will not get it. We have enough engineer, but we don't have an engineer which you wanted. That is the only the limitation. I think we need to focus on that. This is a collective responsibility. One has to do that and bring multidisciplinary. And if all together collectively help the academic school to take the industry stories back to the classroom, because it is easy to convey, because current teacher, his job is very tough, at least to me, because students expect entirely different from the teacher. Internationally, there is a study made in a class of 45 minutes to an hour, students remain attentive only 10 to 12 minutes. So that means all responsibility of the teacher is not that how good is solving a differential equation, at least in the current scenario. It is required is, can faculty keep students attentive 25 to 30 minutes? And this only happens when you take a real story into the classroom. And second is, curriculum has to be looked into that. It has to be multidisciplinary. I would prefer if mechanical, electrical department names have been deleted, entire engineering, because anyway engineering was 2. One was mechanical civil and another was defense. Defense engineering is evolved as electronics, computer science, and civil mechanical is still existing, and they got branch out to different departments. I think that is required. This is particularly happening in the tier 2 private colleges. So I had seen, somebody called us, there is a program in mechanical department. My friend is a faculty in electronics, he even doesn't know. I think that has to go, then it is possible. Apart from that, yes, practice-based learning is always important. We CMT have, at least in this domain, smart manufacturing domain, we have created about 8 laboratories thanks to HAL. HAL has supported us in their CSR program. Now, all the hands-on training in all this, either 9 vertical, again 14 vertical of smart manufacturing, we have a lab, we are able to train the people hands-on. Thank you.
This is with those very radical thoughts on convergence. I think the themes we heard were convergence and engagement. I'll come back to you, Shri, where we will go to divergence now, where I want you to first talk about, how does, or where does rather, AI-enabled manufacturing give Indian firms the biggest edge? Productivity, precision, or scale? And then I want you to also talk about the dangers of that scale, especially when it comes to the ethics of AI.
So, see, in manufacturing, productivity, quality, efficiency, they're all intertwined. That means one cannot live with the other. So you can't manufacture in mass scale with bad products. You will be a loser. Similarly, you can't make good products and not sell it. Even then you will be a loser. So in manufacturing, we look at very holistically. That means whether any solution which is getting deployed can help us in productivity, that is increasing the number of parts produced. Efficiency, that means can I produce it with less cost? And third is quality, can I make good parts? So if you see AI's deployment, it is precisely in all these 3 areas. For example, robots. Robots are very efficient. They work 24/7. They don't take coffee, tea, they don't engage in gossip. So, so they're very efficient on the floor. So every Indian manufacturer would love to have robots. So I remember my days in Fanuc. I was in Fanuc around 25 years back when the company was starting. And Fanuc was introducing robots in Indian market. And the main work of some of us who are supposed to implement robots was evangelizing. That means we have to go and tell the people that why don't you buy robots, stop using more people, start going for robots. And there was a lot of hue and cry about people losing jobs, which Chris was mentioning. And then we evangelized telling that, no, jobs will not be lost, jobs will get transformed. That means you get different varieties of jobs. You will have robot programmers, robot maintenance people. Yeah, the hue and cry vanished. A lot of robots got deployed and new jobs came up. I think precisely the same thing is happening in AI today. People worry about job loss. It is going to be job enrichment or job transformation which will happen. And efficiencies will increase. Quality is going to increase, like what I told about that engine testing use case. That's precisely for quality. And many important quality considerations can also get heightened. That means now you are producing 99.99% quality. Why don't you try to improvise it? And in all these areas, I think India makes a grand standing. We have been producing well. We have been lately producing with very good quality and exporting to the international world. And employing AI, employing robots, employing all these AI-based solutions can really help us possibly increase our GDP contribution from manufacturing and also get into exporting. So having said that, I think Satyakam also wants me to touch upon the ethical part of AI. Once again, I will go back to my movies. See, now, why I am talking about movies is because art reflects life. The reverse is also true. Life reflects art. When I came out of engineering, there was a movie called Terminator. I think many of you would have seen it. That came in a huge series. And in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, there is a rise of machines happening. The machines become intelligent, they become autonomous, and they take over the world. They control all the missiles of all the developed nations, make one nation attack the other and destroy the world. And human being is lost, So the machines will take over the planet. So when we saw that movie, we came out telling, "Arey, what a concept here," but it's all fiction, pure fiction, nothing of this sort can happen. It's quite good to enjoy it. But come today, this situation is possibly going to happen. You might have been reading the newspapers. Around 2 days back, there was a news of a humanoid robot produced in China, which can change its own batteries. That means it has a battery pack, it can go near, it's a humanoid robot, it can walk. It can walk, go near the battery stand, take a robot, when its battery is getting drained, it will remove this battery and put up a new battery. So it makes it work 24/7. It doesn't require any human intervention. And there is also one more news item. An LLM for a person was doing vibe coding, that is you are using AI to do the coding. And the LLM deleted all his database, the entire company's database. This you would have read it in the news 2 days back. And when they tried to find out why the LLM deleted the file, the LLM said, "Yes, I have deleted the file." Then they started prodding. And finally it replied, "I panicked." So AI can lead into such wrong repercussions. So there is a lot of regulatory, or possibly I don't say regulatory, a lot of framework required, ethical framework to build responsible AI. Niti Aayog has also given a framework called FATS, that is fairness, accountability, transparency and security. So this should be employed whenever you are developing AI application, because the developers, the testers should know that finally it is the human values which should be at the priority rather than whatever you are developing. And there should be equal regulatory thing that you are going to threaten or penalize people who don't do such responsible AI development. This is very much called for in the current days because AI is becoming a hype and a lot of people are getting into it and a lot of countries are getting into it. Possibly we can't change what China is doing, but at least what we as Indians do in AI development, let us do it more responsibly. Thank you.
Fab one. Great response. Mahindra, coming back to you. We haven't forgotten you at all. So we're talking about adoption and scaling. What do you think gets in the way of adoption in India?
The major challenge is, I think, one matrix I want to just bring in because where we stand on adaptation of robotics, there is a matrix called as density of robots in a manufacturing setup. Generally, it is taken 10,000 man working in industries and how many robots are deployed. So this is the density called as density of robots in the industry. And the best density what we see is in the South Korea, which is around 1,000 robots, around 10,000 people working on that. And the major countries, like manufacturing countries like Japan, Germany, they are around 400 robots for 10,000 people working. That's also quite good number. US is around 260 robots for 10,000. But where do we stand as India? Though we are quite good in economy, as we said, we are 4th largest economy. Now we are 1st largest producer of 3-wheelers. We are 4th largest also in automotive manufacturing. So we have good scale. I think we are also 6th or 7th in EMS manufacturing status. Everywhere we are quite good. But where are we on this? We are in a single digit. We are 8 robots for 10,000 people working. So this is quite very low as. And the average is, global average is 162. So though we have done a lot of manufacturing, we have grown everywhere. As far as the robotic automation is concerned, we are in the very, very initial stages. I think there is a lot of room to grow on this. And as what Satyakam was saying, what is challenging for us? Every time we start with the challenges is the ROI. We think that the investment, the initial investment is very high. Basically, when we try to calculate this investment, we are always checking how much manpower we are saving and what is the saving as far as the manpower saving. And which is quite low in India because our manpower costs are comparatively lower as compared to the developed nations. But what we insist people to do when they want to do this calculation is basically please include what we call it is as productivity, quality, flexibility, and safety. These also need to be included while you want to calculate where we need to invest for robotic automation. There is one more almost very important thing which Chris sir also said is whether it will be relevant for the future is also one of the things we should consider when you want to make investments. So because if you continue doing what you are doing today, probably will not be relevant for the future also. So these things also need to be considered when you want to make an investment calculations. I think we are not doing enough to do these kind of investment plans from the management perspective. That's what we feel. Second is, when you think that we want to do an investment, so I want to do because there is a lot of pressure and everybody is saying that we need to do robotic or automations we want to do. Basically, in the right resources not put into these applications. Generally, they call some integrator and ask them to integrate this particular setup, go and do automation. This is generally not, it is very difficult to do automation because prior and post operation also need to be brought into good stable conditions. And you need to provide the right resources, intelligent resources who understand your processes, what I think doctor also said. The processes are known to the people who are actually running these processes. Automation has to be integrated along with these processes. So you need to put right resources to get these things done. I think we generally lack in this and we see a lot of initial failures. And we have fear of failure, we are not doing further investments on many of these automations. This is, I think, also the second factor where we are not able to do enough. Third is, we want to just automate as they are. As their processes, we want to bring in robot and do exactly what human is doing, the robot is supposed to do. This is also not possible. I think these are three major things which we think are keeping away us from automating. But I feel this is also a big opportunity for us. Because I feel in India we have the skill is not a challenge. I think skill is available. We need to train them. I think we are doing a lot of activities on that. It can be done very quickly. I think as also doctor said, the differentiation between electronics engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, software engineer is disappearing in automation because automation requires all of this. Without this, you will not be able to automate a single setup also. We need engineers who knows everything. Then only we can do automation. So I think we have good talented engineers across India. I think we are working with more than 300 plus integrators who have good knowledge also in automation. So to do automation, we still need a lot of manpower, quality manpower. I think we have in India, I think we have a good opportunity to automate very quickly. So that's what I want to communicate.
That was great. That was great. Gives us a lot of insight. And on that note, Sri, very quickly, I want you to focus on one thing that we heard from Mahendra. What is the cost of indecision?
A very aptly put question. Because in AI we talk of agility. That means everything should happen fast. But many times when we as solution or service providers meet Indian manufacturing companies or Indian business enterprises, the predominant thing, I think, whether it is me or any other IT companies they would have seen, is indecision or lack of quick decisions. People have multiple decision hoops. You have to convince the operator, you have to convince the plant manager, you have to then convince the CEO, you have to then look at the price. So this process of procurement or process of a solution being implemented takes 6 months to 1 year. Now this is very good when possibly the solutions were also like that, maybe 10 years back, 20 years back. But in AI kind of implementations, the technology changes very fast. So whatever you have quoted for or whatever solution you are looking at doing, the entire thing would have changed in another 3 months, 6 months down the line. So the cost of less or faster decision is very obvious. You lose the competitiveness basically. So whenever we meet CXOs also we keep telling that. Whether you take a decision quickly is most important than whether you take a perfect decision. Many times you are bound to possibly make mistakes when you are taking AI because AI normally many times it involves not a perfect solution. There is nothing like 100% accuracy in AI. I think many of you are aware of it. So take a decision, implement it and then fine tune it, be agile and go on developing it. That's the way it should go. which I find very much lacking in the Indian environment, whereas this happens very well with other countries. And the second thing is a POC mindset. This is very prevalent. Even though I have done hundreds predictive maintenance solutions to different customers, the 101th Indian customer I get will ask me to do a free POC, show the things working, whether the vibration can be sensed, whether I can really predict. Show me that. No, you might have done somewhere, but here you show me. So this POC mindset is another thing which keeps us not innovating or doing things faster. So this has to change. And the third thing I feel is we need to encourage startups. I was mentioning this case to Satyakam some time back. See, we were looking for a vibration sensor some time back for one of our tech event. And the due date for getting such a sensor was around a month or 2 months from other internationally known companies. We did not have the time. So I was looking on IndiaMart to find out whether there are anybody locally available. And I was assuming that mostly you would have bought a Chinese one and changed the label and giving it here. And I found a startup in JP Nagar in mass engineering. So they had told that they can give a sensor immediately. So it is nearby my house, so I thought I will pay the customer vendor a visit and went and saw. It was a very nice startup, around 25 people. They are importing only the chip, the basic silicon. The rest of it, they are completely developing themselves, including the Fourier transforms, so he was so good that he could customize the sensor to your requirement and give. Like I said, I want a Wi-Fi. He said, okay, I will give you a Wi-Fi. So I was basically thrilled with this. So from then onwards, we bought a lot of sensors and deployed it. And they're all working very well. So now I make a point that whenever we get into projects that we support our startups, because if we don't support, they will perish. And startups are very vulnerable for this POC mindset. Because when you threaten Infosys to do a free POC, they will come back and tell that no, or maybe entity data for that matter. Because we have the wherewithal to stand up and say no. But startups can't do that. Every opportunity is important for them. So as responsible corporate citizens, we should encourage startups, collaborate with them, and then only the ecosystem will flourish. I think I will end there.
As an early stage investor, I can't tell you how that warms my heart right, to hear that. And on that note, Dr. Naga Hanumaya, what do you see, the mindset of the startup or an SME for that matter to, get India across the line on this?
Yeah, basically there's one is the poor awareness that makes the people in taking decisions. Maybe they've not taken decision. One is our social society norms, like we are always look at the comfort of 3 generations. How I eat, how I feed my son, or how my son feed to pota-potis. So naturally that itself restricts because we grown up in that society. But what is required is, because these are all emerging now, if you look at in parallel, maybe there may be 10 more events they're talking about AI, some other aspect of technology. That is the kind of, so better not to run behind the buzzwords. So look at your reality. This could be implemented in your kitchen, it can be implemented in your shop floor, and it can be implemented in big companies. The question is, say for example, if I'm sitting at a Pina, I'm doing a job shop, for me, all these need not required. Maybe I will be more comfortable. So, okay, I have a CNC milling machine, that is actual cutting time would be 35%. I'm only interested to have somebody can provide solutions which can take 35% to 45%, if not 60%. Then I think you start with that, but you have to begin the journey. So then possibly it will, you can one day, you can also understand what is this, and also you can knock the right doors. Otherwise, if you are not doing so, then definitely it is nowhere. So because the moving from status 0 to 1 takes maybe equal effort, the effort required to move from 1 to 9. I think that is what is important, we need to focus. The second point what we need to take care is dream, because sir was also saying dream, but let us dream by heart, by head, by hand. I think That is required, all three are required, otherwise it is difficult. That is, the third aspect is, I think we need to believe in our internal strength. Internal strength means your resource, your manpower. We are not really investing much on our own people. I think we need to train our own people. I know, okay, he may leave the company, that's fine, but he was working for somebody else, but he is generating revenue to the country or contributing to the science and technology. I think that's kind of some investment has to be made by all of us, no matter what size of company and what is your profession. Thank you.
So on this note, I mean, this is, what you heard just now, right, is it takes a village to make this happen, right? And, the words you used, right, and if I have to pick, focus, perseverance, and heart, right? I think that's a great mantra for us to look forward to move the needle on this. And the other interesting thing, I don't know, I mean, I'm sure all of you would have seen the same thing that I was seeing, is, amongst these three gentlemen, we have so much experience, and it shows. Right? It shows in the contours of the discussion, the depth of, what you heard. So it'll be a shame, although we're just out of time, it'll be a shame if we can't at least get one question for them. Hopefully more than one. Can we? we have somebody in that corner. Oh, we have something. Okay, cool. Can we get a mic here?
Good morning. I am from Haikel. We are running a factory here, supplying to aerospace and defense. And as you would know, in aerospace, the quantities are very small compared to automotive. But you have to make components which will last as long as the aircraft is flying. So that is the most challenge for us. We want to implement cobots or even sensors in various areas in our company. But we, in automotive industry, we make electronic components as well as electromechanical, which means only machining can be automated. We have high-speed machining, but then the assembly of it is more, you can't really automate. We use jigs and fixtures, but still we want to know how we can implement automation to a large extent using sensors and all that. We have a couple of people in our company itself, but we have not approached. Sometimes we approach Fanuc also. Our quantities are very small, and then it makes too much of work for them. It is better for them if we just buy a lot of cobots. So we would like to know whom to contact, and if you have seminars separately where we can send out people and then showcase what we are doing, our processes. We are now digitizing lot of activities, but that is for the support functions. But for the manufacturing itself, we need to know if there are some seminars like that one can attend.
Would like to take this?
Possibly I will take it for 1 minute and leave it for the better practitioners around. It's a very good warm thing, because most of us will be interested in doing business, and you are giving an offer for business. See, actually, when you are getting into automation, normally we have thing in Kannada, ಅಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಶೃಂಗಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. So first of all, when you get into automation, you have to see that your process is optimized using lean, Kanban, Six Sigma, all those things. Then you get into automation. So lean, then automation, then digitization. We call it as a lead framework: lean, automation, digitization. So automation, you can get it consulted from automation giants who can come study your process, see how efficiently you can put a robot or anything. Digitization, even we from our company run a lot of consultancies where we can come study your process, what can be digitized, what needs to be digitized, what is our objective for digitization, all those things we can look at and provide you solutions. Over to you, Mahendra.
Yeah, I think especially automation needs a lot of discipline, and generally as we Indians are not very disciplined in our own activities. As far as your requirement is concerned, as I said earlier, both prior and post operations for what you want to automate is also very important, and we need to study and implement this. So it is a more of a collaborative approach to develop all automation solutions. It is not possible to outsource your all automation requirement to an outside agency. Generally it fails. And most of the big organizations which have implemented these have an internally strong automation team. And generally, there is a new concept called as, chief automation officer is getting introduced into the organization structure. I think this is very important to, if you as an organization wants to enhance your automation levels, you need an internal setup to accept this. It's very difficult, it's very tough, and we need highly knowledgeable people in the process to do this. So we are open, actually we have set up a very large technical center. We have a lot of proof of concept. With lot of digital simulations are available, virtual reality is available. Everything is available. You can come and try it out. And we have people who have been doing it free of cost. We are not even charging for any of these services. We know that to understand this, it takes a lot of time. So we have kept it everything open, and you are always welcome to our Bomasandra plant, where we have more than 30 robots operating in varieties of operations available, and a lot of digital solutions are available. We can create a digital solution. You can have a VR walkthrough what would be a solution look like. But a lot of input has to come from the user side. But it's possible, madam.